Let us explore this power of influence, shall we? First of all, I would like you to consider the phrase feminine or female influence. Bribery, coercion, and blackmail. Just think about that for a second. Now I would like you to consider the type of influence that, say, Bruce Lee had, Chuck Norris, or other comparable celebrities. It is unconscionable what they are doing. You know why? Because they don't have influence over me. So therefore, I can't influence society on their behalf. And why would I? Not only do I not see it their way, but no one resents them more than I do. After all these things they have done to me, trying to play me out, sabotage my love life, all this bitch shit, after they have given my family false hope and planted people in their life since I was little and before to cheat them out of their money, to deny them their influence because they were people of morality with a higher moral standard than the social norm or what is normative with the governing class. Now, I assure you, they want to maximize their power of influence and minimize or eradicate mine. They are upset because I am dogmatic in my views. There is no chance that I will be swayed by pussy power or any other form of the power of influence. In fact, it has blown up in their faces because all the things that were denied me, and all the things that were done to me have fed in to my determination. In the scriptures I cite, such as Matthew 10 and Matthew 5:10. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Not only that, but it also feeds into the power of a man full of righteous indignation who is fighting for honor. So what they end up doing is influencing me to resent, hate, and want to crush them even more. When the power of influence is used in a way that is similar to psychiatry, this idea that one size fits all, when it certainly doesn't, it can have an unfavorable or undesired effect, undesirable effect. When you look at Matthew 19, honor your father and mother and love your neighbor as yourself. In a world where these cheaters have cheated my family, given them false hope, all to fit their sick little agenda. I was born already at odds with them. I could not honor my mother by making the same mistakes that they did. I could not honor my father by bootlicking to their worst enemies, whether they were to admit it to themselves or not. The only way I could truly honor my father and my mother in a Christian way, especially, was to transcend the traps of the traitors. The only way I could bring honor to the community of Igbos was to do what is right. The only way I could bring honor to my Father in heaven is to be a man of God, to secure my rightful place as the top martial artist, and use it to influence the world. And to a certain extent, I have. The way I've secured it is similar to someone who has won a gold medal in the Olympics. How many of you can name the last, we'll say, sprinter, whatever they do, 100-yard dash or whatever. Who was the last gold medalist in the 100-yard dash or whatever, however they slice it? I can. Does that mean his rightful place is not there? On the one hand, he hasn't gained the admiration of people who probably should admire him. But on the other hand, he's still the winner. And so it is with my Top Martial Artist Challenge. There are people who don't understand the relevance, and there are people that do. Either way, I have secured my rightful place in that sense, but I have not been given my credit by the masses of fools and those who are unaware. It all goes back to the power of influence. You see, they did not make it a high priority to try to beat me. They didn't throw everyone who they thought might have a chance of beating me. Instead, they said, you know what? He almost certainly can beat everyone. So we're better off denying him his power of influence than letting his wins rack up, on record, on camera, in the hope that we can beat him on a fluke. You see how they prioritized the power of influence? They deal in facades and smoking mirrors. I teach you to live in reality and not in the illusion. The power of the illusion and the power of influence is connected. In order for me to gain the power of influence, I have to destroy the illusion. So on so many levels, they are at odds with me. And it all starts with the truth. They are liars who hide behind illusions and mainstream misconceptions. And that has allowed them to influence people. They mislead in order to influence. They cheat, fabricate, and falsify in order to influence. All those attractive women who are trying to get me to sell out, and all those in the New World Order who are trying to get me to settle, unless I sell out, then they'll present me hopes and false hopes for the future. They are all fools. A wise man doesn't live the illusion. A wise man or woman doesn't support the illusion. How can one be wise if they don't live in reality? I ask you again, how is it possible that one can be wise and not live in reality and not teach people reality? They cannot. It's impossible. You must understand that even drugged and all this social pressure and all these mind games they have played, I stood on the wise path. I walked the wise path, the higher path, the wiser path. While these unwise cowards tried to hinder my progress at every turn. They started off wrong. They said, well, I'm going to play their sick little game, and I'm going to play it well so I can get more social acceptance and, people looking up to us. I'll tell you the truth. No one who plays the game truly has the admiration of potential wives. Because just like honor, admiration is something that is a pure thing. What they have is this kind of, they have a certain favorable view of them, is the best way to describe it. They don't truly respect them, not in the truest sense of the word. They don't truly admire them, not in the truest sense of the word. Those words are reserved in their pure form, in their truest form, in the truest explanations that involve those words. They're reserved for people who deserve them. Do you admire a drug kingpin? No. You might say, wow, you might be a sicko who's impressed. But is there true respect? No. They're a greaseball. They cheated people. A lot of good people suffered and died because of their sick activities. So it is that these people settle for the illusion and favorable views from people who are under heavy conditioning, mind control, and indoctrination. Favorable views. I tell you the truth, even if there is only one person in the world other than myself that respects me, I have more respect than all of the elite put together, because this is a word in its pure form, in its truest form, that is reserved for those who deserve it. So I have more respect than they do. I have more admiration than they do. All they have is an illusion and mind control and trickery. What are they but piss ants and scum? And I'm not talking about race. I'm talking about they are inferior, insignificant specks in the greater scheme of things. I am like a sun, and they are a speck of darkness. They are peanuts to the great spaghetti. Collectively, they need to get over themselves and recognize the motherfucking truth. And I am the motherfucking truth. You can keep playing these dress-up doll games, these materialistic, pathetic little ninny games, like a little girl playing with her dolls. I have a new doll today, playing with her friends. Or you can live in reality, like the top martial artist does. And soon it will be official. Tick, tock, tick, talk. Now, all cockiness aside, when it comes to reality, martial arts, human nature, philosophy, honor, and being a transcendent hero, I am an overqualified preschool teacher. I'm teaching very simple minds when when I'm dealing with the opposition view about something that I know much, 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 much better than they do about. The question that is posed by the opposition view is, how am I a transcendent hero when all I do is sit on my ass talking shit all day? Very stupid question. But I guess we all have to start somewhere. Even if you're a grown-up with the mind of a baby. Transcendence means that you transcend social norms, social expectations, and what one might describe as the material nature. And those kind of petty emotions, petty urges, petty desires. And you reach a mind state that is more spiritually mature, if you will. One could make the argument that how is Socrates a philosopher when he spent long hours staring into the sky, standing in the middle of the street or the sidewalk in deep thought? I one-up him on that level. As not only am I in deep thought, but I am also talking and reflecting on what I have said, that I have recorded. So what these inferior minds see as talking shit is actually profound wisdom that they are not spiritually advanced enough to accept or comprehend. And thus I spend a lot of time explaining very simple concepts in a way that no one can deny, when I should be spending every moment that I do that delving into the deeper aspects of human nature, existence, theology, that which is divine, and concepts of honor. But you see, the world is not ready for me. They don't deserve it. The only people that deserve these things are my wife, which I don't have, and my children, which I don't have. Since the world isn't smart enough, since women collectively aren't smart enough to have given me a suitable companion, if you will, then they certainly aren't ready for the deeper understanding of the top martial artist to be revealed. And so I spend a lot of time trying to get people ready to advance to the next level. And people talk about consciousness, they're really talking about trickery. And since those who seek knowledge and understanding are being led down the wrong paths by spiritual bottom feeders, I have to bring them back to where they need to be so they can advance in the right direction and walk the wiser or the higher path. Even to have to explain something like that is rather disheartening and unnerving. And so it is that my viewers are starting to understand the different levels of the betrayal of the top martial artist by the most attractive women who were supposed to be in a state of consciousness or a state of mind that would have allowed them to admire him, he would have fallen in love with one of them and vice versa, instead of taking an oath in order to prevent women from influencing him, since they were all in a negative and unholy state of mind. So I hope that answers your question, you socially normative cowards. You need to be called names to snap out of it. You're so concerned with your social acceptance, so let's start there. Somebody is drunk and refuses to wake up, and they're just a drunk fucking idiot making an ass of themselves. Perhaps we need to splash a bucket of water on them, get them to snap out of it. Say, wake up, you fucking drunk, you lush, you drunkard, you drunk dog. Snap out of it so you can learn something. Snap out of your drugged state of mind, America. Snap out of your ignorant state of mind. Stop being influenced by lesser forms of life who, when they put their heads together, could not beat me. Even when I presented them timelines. When I said, oh, you have $5,000 if you can beat me in the next couple of days. They couldn't. I give them until December 20th, 2016. I'll be 35 years old. They cannot beat me. Together, putting their sniveling heads together. All the money on the military budget. All that money. All that hand-to-hand combat training. There's more martial art dojos in America than China, Korea, and Japan, I think it was. Put together. Those philosophies could not beat me. Those inferior philosophies. Because I'm closer to God and I have a higher understanding. They are just fucking scum. You're being guided by inferior minds down a path to hell. When man, in his original understanding and truest and purest understanding, when he was closer to God and nature, understood very well that a transcendent hero is the most honored among ancestors who could actually be received after his death. And here you are following cowards and weaklings, when it was men such as myself that civilized the world. And I tell you the truth. You need me to civilize this chaotic, sick world that is in a state that is far more depraved than the world was when Narmer united Upper and Lower Egypt. It was always people like me with the honor, the courage, the mental toughness, the mental conditioning, the spiritual greatness that united the lands, that brought civilization and understanding to the world. You people need to stop playing stupid, stop being stupid, stop thinking with your dicks and your materialistic gold-digging whore natures, and you need to listen to truth. Humble yourself. Being cocky, going down the wrong path, has gotten you into this mess. One could argue that presidents and kings just sit around talking shit all day. They're philosophers. They're prophets. How, would they say that to the prophets? Hezekiah. How come you're a prophet, some kind of transcendent man, when all you do is talk shit to the fucking people in charge? You talk about prophecies that are going to make Evil people pay for not doing the work of God. You're basically talking shit and talking down to us. How are you transcendent? You see, their questions reflect their stupidity. Their illogical, very basic logic could prove their questions stupid and not worth asking. That's how much they cling to these nonsensical social norms and these mainstream misconceptions that will be the downfall of all of humanity unless humanity, in almost its entirety, concede my point. Walk with the top martial artist in all of his spiritual greatness, all of his mental and physical prowess, his mind, body, and soul superiority. Walk with me, not inferior cowards clinging on to shiny objects, fucking paper, and sniveling technology. Walk with greatness, not cowardice.